Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Thank you so much. It's a blessing. It's another beautiful day. And today is an amazing day. We're in the Pearl of Africa, the land of opportunities, in the capital, Kampala. And today we are blessed to have an amazing guest. Welcome to impactmasters podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Podcasts, bringing you Africa's story, telling them raw the way they are. It's a blessing once again, and I welcome you. Today we're having a conversation with one and only Solomon Opio. He's a mover and shaker in Kampala, doing amazing stuff. He's an entrepreneur, a lead, a co-founder, and many more. I'm going to tell you about him shortly. How are you, Solomon?
Fine.
You good?
Very well, Michael.
You want me to introduce you, or you want to introduce yourself?
You can introduce me.
Amazing stuff. I knew it. So Solomon Opio is the lead and co-founder at Soltech Digital Solutions, a technology company. He leads Binary Garage initiative to support technologists and startups to learn, design, and build right products for the right markets. He's also the Uganda Country Lead for Startup Africa Roadtrip, a project born in 2017 with the mission of discovering East African local ecosystem and sharing professional skills in the field of digital marketing and venture capital. For the past 5 years, he has worked with Outbox Technology Hub as a community manager and capacity development lead, respectively, in charge of training and other activities geared towards growth and skill development for the developer community, startups, and industry players. He also worked as a systems and network administrator at the College of Computing and Informatics, Information Sciences for a period of 1 year and 3 months. He's also a Google Cloud Developer Community Lead, GDG Cloud, lead for Kampala, in charge of programs, training, and other events and initiatives around Google Cloud Technology in Kampala. Prior to that, he led GDG Kampala for 3 years. Now, Solomon, when I read this, it just tells me that this has been long overdue, right?
So one of the things, just like when you ask someone to introduce themselves,
yes,
they could do it better. Mm-hmm. But yes, the things you have talked about, correct.
Yeah.
And maybe one other thing is that I've worked with the Innovation Village, leading the tech community as well. So yes. I have been part of the tech ecosystem, I can say, for the past 10 years. Yeah, so maybe that's what I really needed to add.
Yeah.
Very passionate about technology and innovations. Yeah. So,
Solomon, in these podcasts, we normally say that you cannot tell an African man's story without letting them know who they are. And you see, when you're known as an African man, there's so much into it more than what I've just read. It's just part of the story. It's like 10% of the story. So today I would like to know, who is Solomon Opio? Where was he born? How he came up? Until we met Solomon Opio, the technology mover and shaker in Uganda.
Okay, that's taking me quite back. Mm-hmm. But I would say I was born in a district called Lira. Mm-hmm. That's in the northern part of Uganda.
Yeah.
In the earlier days,
yes.
Primary school level, then going to secondary.
Yeah.
I did my primary school in Lira.
Yeah.
Then I went to Tororo. Mm-hmm. That was for my O level. I mean for my O level. Mm-hmm. Then later I also joined Chambogo College. That was in Kampala. Then
Chief. I don't know if you have ever listened to an African tell the story.
Okay.
That's an English way of telling the story.
All right.
I would love to know, how was the experience in Rira? Maybe there's a kid there. I don't know where Rira is. Maybe most of our listeners don't know where Rira is, right?
Okay.
What is the experience like there? Because if I come to Kampala, there is abundance. There is a lot of food. There's a lot of everything, right? And I know maybe across Uganda, there's not abundance of everything. I might assume the whole Uganda looks like Kampala, which might be wrong or I might be right. So how is that experience in primary school? Just take us through step by step.
Someone would say Lira is quite a hot district, but when you get to Kampala, you actually realize that it's the same kind of weather.
Yeah.
But yes, it may get a little bit hotter than Kampala. We may have more seasons of rain in Kampala compared to the north.
Yeah.
Then one thing that Lira is known for is abundance of what people call, everyone refers to it as OD. That's the Simsim pest.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's if you get to the north and you do not have that, then there's really a problem. So every time you're coming from Lira, somebody is going to ask you, please bring for us some OD. It's really a nice. It's really a nice.
Did you say
pest.
Simsim pest?
Yes, it's Simsim pest. So what happens is they, after roasting, you mix it with it's groundnuts mixed with Simsim. So the pest is what they're calling OD.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
So it's more like a mixture of different ingredients and then making something out of it.
Not really ingredients. After mixing the two, after roasting nuts and roasting the Simsim,
okay,
all you do is grind.
You'll get a lot of protein from that.
You're ready to go. Yeah. You're good to go.
I hear you. Now you see, that's why you should not just pass by, So which is that one experience, in primary school that you remember vividly?
So in my primary school, I actually happened to be a leader all through. The experience, I would say, was more of waking up very early. I was in a school called St. Kizito Primary School.
Was it a boarding school?
Yes, it was a boarding school.
So how early did you wake up?
That was 4 a.m.
Every day?
Because 5:30 you're needed in class. So you have to go and bathe. Imagine at that time of the morning.
Yeah.
It's really, really cold.
It's crazy.
You have to. We used to start with working out.
So you guys used to run, or did you used to lift weight, or what?
A lot of those would have our teacher, who was a patron at that time, would call us, wear your black t-shirts. Now your black t-shirts, what it means is actually you come bare-chested. Do not wear anything. So because we are blacks, it looks like we are wearing. We would look like we are wearing black t-shirts.
I see.
So that was a quite, what I would say, a harsh one for us. But along the way, it became quite interesting. Now I happen to be a leader, so that I was actually the head prefect. So I would have to enforce and make sure, people come for that. And by 5:30, you're needed.
So you even woke up
class
earlier than the people?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what I remember. That's what I would remember, of course, apart from other things like, going for debate. I used to be, actually, some people said, I don't want to say but people said I was the best in debate. Then one time we had, the pupils were not interested in they didn't want to participate. So one thing that happened was they decided to inform the deputy head prefect. The deputy head teacher then, who came and put all of us down, a lot of canes, whether you registered or not. And my name was first on the list, but I was still caned. I felt that was really, really not fair.
This is the principal?
That's the deputy head teacher.
Who is mostly in in Kenya, mostly deputy head teachers are discipline masters.
All right.
So
yes.
was he a discipline master?
Yes.
So did he feel like you guys are absconding duty as debaters, or?
That's what he thought.
Okay.
Because when you're reported,
yeah.
Somehow I also think he really wanted to be known as working, enforcing something,
closing KPIs.
Exactly. And yet he did it the wrong way.
Yeah. At your expense, which is wrong.
Yes.
So nowadays there's this movement of less cane, less discipline, whichever way you look at it. What do you think? Is it something that is big here in Uganda, or?
So what I hear is these days you wouldn't really cane someone just just because maybe depending on there are several lines of discipline that you want to enforce, but all I know is that they have reduced.
So it's not as stringent as it was before.
No, it's not.
Do you think the discipline really worked on people to be more disciplined, to be more focused, as opposed to now?
I think so. I remember one of my teachers when we had. Now he used to cane people because of poor handwriting. So while he was writing on the blackboard, we used to use blackboards. So while he was writing on the blackboard, I made sure my handwriting looked like his. Unfortunately, we lost him, I think, last month. He passed on, but he was really a good teacher.
Yeah.
And I think I have a nice handwriting now because of him.
Yeah. So sometimes it's worth it. It puts across the point.
It really did. I think we benefited from it.
Yeah.
So if you were to bring some of those teachers who really caned us, I would give them a hug.
Oh,
I would.
But then you used to look at them like, why are you killing us?
You wouldn't like it.
Yeah. So, which was your favorite subject?
I loved English, and in my primary school, I loved English and math. Those were my best.
Yeah, I know when people are in primary school, there's that career choice. You say, maybe I'm gonna become. In Nairobi, it's like doctor, lawyer, and engineer.
Yeah.
So, what was yours?
I wanted to be. Now at some point I wanted to become a doctor. I would say if I become a doctor, I would be fine.
Yeah.
If I become an engineer, I would be fine.
Yeah.
But those are the things that
those
our
are
parents, our parents wanted us to.
Yeah.
If my son becomes a doctor, and remember, all my parents. Were teachers, but they wanted us for those
to be better than a teacher.
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you think, by the way, now that you're talking about the teachers, do you think teachers are treated really well in terms of remuneration, in terms of packages that they get for shaping people's life?
I think the answer is a straight no. Because remember, these teachers are the ones who bring us to where we have to be. Without a teacher, you cannot become an engineer. You cannot become, that lawyer. You can't.
Yeah.
I don't know if. I mean, if you take me deep into, what we have.
Yeah.
Currently, maybe a government would say the teachers are so many, but I believe. With the time, their remuneration and all that can be improved.
Yes.
So that they can have, better lives.
Yeah. And by the way, if you think about it, I don't think, when people get to high school and universities, most of them want to become teachers, unless they have the true calling of, I want to teach people, this is what I want to do, because of, again, the remuneration, the lifestyle, even family obligation.
That's true.
Yeah. So I feel like this is something that we can actually improve across Africa, and we can discuss, how to do it. So you passed through a primary school. Did you perform well?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
And now you join high school.
Yeah, when I joined high school, so by then the highest, I think the schools that were really sounding that time were those. Traditional schools of government,
public
government
school.
Yes, public schools. So after looking into all these, I think I don't remember why, but St. Peter's College Tororo was one of those sounding schools.
Was it a national school?
Yes, yes, it was. So I went to that's where I went. I went to St. Peter's College Tororo, and yeah.
So in high school, you go to a college here in Uganda.
What you call now? If you talk about high school,
that's from 5 and 6.
No. Now what we call it here in Uganda, it may be wrong, but when you finish your primary school level,
yes. Which is up to class
P7, primary 7. Now from S1, senior 1, they're considering that high school.
Yes, yes.
Up to senior 6. That's what they would call high school. Maybe wrong, maybe correct. I really don't know.
Maybe we can exchange notes. But in Kenya, you go from class 1 to class 8. Okay, the curriculum has changed a bit.
Okay.
And now from Form 1 to Form 4, which is high school. And then from there, you can join a college or you can join a university.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the system. But right now, they're changing the system. So up to class 4, that is lower primary school. And then from class 5, from class 5, I am not sure, it's so new.
Okay.
Onwards is like lower high school or junior high school.
Okay.
And then you spend, I think, 2 years or 3 years there, and then you go to high school. And then from there, it's kind of messed up to an extent that I feel like, but I think what they want to enforce there is practical experience. So if you're good in music, if you're good in art, if you're good in home science, you can really do those things practically. And I feel like it's an improvement given, the dynamics of way people have been doing things, so that at least we have practical, people are starting industries, people building things by themselves. And that I'm sure will contribute, to the betterment of the industrial revolution as it is, plus now the tech revolution. Because if you start coding at standard 5, then by the time you're finishing college or high school, you should be really good.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you
I think it's a good one.
Yeah.
So in Uganda, a school that is calling itself, if you hear, for example, there's going to be a school that is called a senior secondary school, starting from senior 1 to senior 6. Yeah. Now you hear of St. Peter's College Tororo. It's still from senior 1 to senior 6. Now all that is considered, there's just the ordinary level and advanced level.
Yeah.
So, but they're the same. So again, if you take us to college, you will hear there is College of Computing. Now that's at the university.
Yes.
So I think the order has been distorted also.
Yeah.
So that's why you'll hear the other one is being called a college. The other is just a secondary school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But looking at senior 1 to senior 6, join a college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So even here in Tororo, you went to boarding school, right?
Yes, yes.
Is there things to do? We call it monolization in Kenya, right?
Okay.
I don't know what you call it, like being welcome to the, adulthood or so. But it's just bullying, in other words. Do they do that around here?
It was a lot, actually. But I believe things have changed.
Okay.
We used to, when we got to school, I remember the stories that we hear that someone was bullied and he went to the headmaster and he told them, read the motto on your badge. And it says, a palm tree grows under difficult conditions.
So they just go back.
So you just go back. Yeah. But I believe by now things have really changed. Again, going to that school, I may not have really experienced a lot of that because when I went there, I had quite a number of friends already there at higher level. Yeah. In fact, in senior 6, there was a time.
Those are from your village or from your school?
From so now some of them were from my village. Okay. Then their friends became also friends to me. Yeah. So one of the things I remember was when we were at one of the evenings. One of the evenings we had, some guys came to me. They wanted, if you do not give us sugar, if you do not give us, the grab, what they're calling the grab, we're going to pour water on your bed. So one thing I did was to go to now I did not tell those friends of mine in senior 6, but I stayed with them for quite a long time. And when I got, it reached, I think it was clocking. It was coming to midnight. And they asked me, but Solomon, aren't you going to sleep? You've overspent time here. So I told them, there are these boys who said if I do not give them my grab, they're going to pour water on my bed and all that kind of stuff. They're like, okay, let's take you. So we went. They told me, you enter. So what they did was, they surrounded the house. They surrounded the house, and so
were you in cubes or?
Yes,
how was the setup?
Yes, we used to be in cubes.
Like 4 of you or 6 of you?
Would be 4. But it's an open. Now I was actually sleeping at the entrance, not so that means whoever is coming in to get to their cubicles, they would of course pass
through your bed.
Through
It
wires.
wasn't a bunker or just beds?
Now there were beds. Okay, there were partitions.
Okay.
There were partitions, but those partitions were more. They were not walls as such.
Okay.
It was a wooden kind of thing. So whatever is happening within, it's like for everyone.
I see.
So when I got in my bed, they were like, okay, are you okay now? They were like, yes, I was like, yes, I'm fine. So the people, no, the students who are there, I think were like, okay, so what's happening? It looks like this guy has a bodyguard, something like that. So
yes,
from that time,
no one bothered you.
No one bothered me.
Yeah.
So, but for other students and all that, there was a lot of that, until we had a change of the head teacher.
Okay.
And things started changing. If you're to go to that school right now, I believe it's really good.
Oh,
it's really good.
So it improves to the better.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
I see. So you guys used to sneak out of school for some reason?
Students used to.
Not you.
I want to be very, very. So I did not have a lot of that. At times I would get out during the day, but of course there are those who would get out in the night and
And what would be the main reason?
Some people there are those who love clubbing and all that,
and alcohol,
of course,
and all that.
It's very legal. And again, we used to have several students coming from different countries, including Kenya. We had had so many Kenyans. The story we used to hear then, and now if you're going to hear, if we are going to hear, if the Kenyans are the ones hearing this, they may be like, okay, so what are you saying about us? But I'll just say broadly how
tell the way it is.
Yes, what they used to say. Because of the restrictions. In fact, some of the Kenyans are the ones who told us. Because of the restrictions in Kenya concerning alcohol and all that, some of them, get to Uganda and they get the freedom, because of that freedom, they overdo it.
And it's affordable, actually. The liquor and everything.
Yes. So we had a lot of those, and I can tell you, so many Kenyans were being,
they're involved in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was that. But the school was not as strict as,
Yeah.
Of course, if they get you out, if it's really this serious teacher, they would then bring you for disciplinary action and all that.
Yeah.
But some did not really care. I remember I have actually that time I even met the headmaster himself outside. All he did was greet us, but that was during the day.
Okay.
During the day. So the people who were really, really in trouble were the ones who sneaked out at night. I mean, what would you go and do out in the night? And, again,
And
meeting
it's risky.
wrongdoers out there.
Yeah.
Now, because our school then was seen as, you know, as a school full of, you know, things, hooliganism and stuff like that, then we would have these guys, when there was a trading center you'd pass before you reach town.
Yeah.
It was called Kasoli. That's how they called it, Kasoli.
Yes, yes.
Now, the residents of that place would actually come. I mean, if they know these are students of St. Peter's College, they would beat them up. So,
Why?
Yes, because now, whenever we were going for activities like, say, football and stuff like that.
You guys used to do music festival or just football?
No, it was mostly football.
Okay.
So they would come on their way back.
Okay. And loot
They
the
get
shops.
to go and loot the shops. You know, beat up people, especially when they lose.
Oh, I see. I think I know a school or two who are like that.
Yeah, so we had quite a lot.
Yeah.
We had quite a lot around that.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, at a point, the school started transforming before I even left.
So by the time you were leaving, things were a bit...
That's why I can tell you right now, I'm very sure the school has really transformed, especially when we had a new head teacher. Unfortunately, that head teacher also passed on.
Oh, rest in peace.
Amen. So when that happened, I mean, from when he came in and changed things around, turned things around, the ones who followed were really in a good place. They didn't struggle. Yeah. So
you go through this process, you know, and I assume it was teenage years, right?
Yes.
Of course, that's the time you are discovering. You know what? Maybe I'm going to adulthood. You are going to sports. There is all this, you know, peer pressure. And I hear you had some godfathers who protected you really well. That tells me a lot of things as an African man. Were you tempted to be the guy who does the wrong things all the time, coming from a leadership in primary school?
So that's another thing. I think for me, myself and leadership was, we could not part ways. Okay. Right from senior one, I became a class representative. Then getting to some I became the vice chairman, students council. So again, the leadership, I always attribute it to that because I had all reasons to get spoiled and become, you know, a bad boy. But because of the leadership position, I think it somehow
brought some responsibility.
Yes, it brought in, you know, a lot of that.
Yeah.
One of the things one of the things I remember, a parent from my village mentioned that, I want to take my son to every school that Solomon has gone to.